I couldn't even bring myself to put any music in the background for the first bit of the video. I mean, at first, the episode was going so well with the dinner scene, and the agents just showcasing some slice of life. But then you get to the second half of the episode of Chika, and it's just like, man, I remember reading this in the manga, and it really tore me apart, because I think the fandom is always in protect Amatori mode, and this episode was something that I was looking forward to for a long time, but you really gotta give props to Toei for living up to their promise. Between Chika's VA, the OST choices to match just how serious the second half of the episode was, and even playing the outro as the episode was wrapping up, this was easily one of the heaviest episodes in the entire series in my personal opinion. Going into the actual sequence of events, we have the long-awaited dinner scene that many have been waiting, and again, just like how I mentioned with Kuga hanging out with his boys, it's always great to see so many different personalities interact in one setting, because you can really get a distinct vibe from each of the squads, and seeing Tamakoma 2 and the Nomiya squad was certainly interesting to see, especially when the Nomiya squad is the last major wall they must overcome in order to be selected for the away missions. We get to see Suji being teased by the girls, and Chika just eating her heart out with the rice, and it's just one of those slice of life episodes that yet again proves that one of World Trigger's strongest points are in the hands of the cast, and that without a doubt will never change. Now, as the topic of discussion for dinner today, we have two main points to take away. For starters, Hyuse's strategy with the Viper bullets have been discovered by Inukai, and not to be expected as a gunner when you have the ability to analyze the logs, especially given Hyuse's Trion level when he was clearly holding back. This last match by no means is going to be an easy fight, and seeing something like Hyuse's strategy being found off the bat is already showing that things will not be as smooth, so as such, Mikumo is going to really need to keep on his A game as the leading captain. The second conversation is whether or not Chika overcame her fear of not being able to shoot. Now last match, her meteor bomb would have definitely said this to be true, but Chika's reaction says otherwise. Last match's score on Okudera was definitely unintentional, and the wall of Chika being not shooting to kill is still up, but in this episode, it was most definitely tackled. For some time now, you all have heard me talk about the Chika conversation episode and saying how it was going to be a very important conversation when we get there, and I think you all know why I said that, because looking at it now, this was definitely really heavy. Upon returning back from dinner, strategy talk is the most productive talk at the time, and at first, we come up with the idea of letting Chika defend Hyuse while Hyuse shoots, but then Hyuse is like, wait, why not let Chika shoot with her insane volume of Trion, and we get on the defense for her instead, and this is when things gradually start to spiral downward. So we all know that Hyuse is a little on the colder side of things in terms of empathy and emotional connection, and he just came pretty blunt this episode asking Chika if she can shoot, because all the liabilities and concerns need to be taken into account when going into the final battle, but the way he went about it definitely pushed Chika to her limit. Now keep in mind, Hyuse has had his fair share of war, and he has seen all types of people who can't shoot and won't shoot, and just like we know, he believes she is in the camp of won't shoot, and he gives plenty of examples as it's simply all the times she has shot and hit her shots during the rank wars, and it's undeniable proof on its own that she can in fact cross that line when she needs to for the sake of her team. At one point, he even goes as far to say that if she didn't shoot depending on the situation, Mikumo or Yuma could die. And it's a valid point because Mikumo almost did die once, and say what if another invasion arc happens and the stakes are even higher than before. Now again, huge props for Toei because throughout the episode, all the different facial expressions and gloominess that Chika expresses really helps convey how she feels in her heart, and we can see her having a bit of a panic attack once Hyuse mentions that they could die. And I gotta be honest, it was rough to see such a kind character being pushed to the brink, but I think it was a push that we know Mikuma and Yuma couldn't bring themselves to do, so Ashihara had to make Hyuse the bad guy to do so. Going into the rooftop conversation that pretty much takes the rest of the episode, we get the long-awaited Chika breakdown of how she really feels, and there are a lot of things I want to talk about here, starting with how Chika is a victim. She's a victim of not only being ignored, but also a victim of her own high Trion levels. A lot of the times, agents wish they could have higher levels to do more with the weapon kit, but in Chika's case, it's always been a burden on her since she was a child. When she lost her classmate Aoba and then everyone started believing in her, that sudden switch from society went from her being in fear of not being believed to her being in fear of being blamed. Because remember, Chika used to isolate herself a lot because of her high Trion levels attracting neighbors, and she felt guilty in a way that someone who's gone through what she's gone through would only understand. Upon coming into Border, she decided to begin her own path as an agent and to move forward. But this is the one thing I want to ask you all. We all know that World Trigger is about pulling that trigger and moving forward towards your goal, because that's why we root for our crew to succeed and all agents to win when they get invaded. But have we ever considered the weight of pulling the trigger? Now what I mean by this is, take real life for example. If you were to harm somebody with a weapon, the gravity of the situation is huge. And for Chika's case, even with the Treon body, she was still afraid of hurting somebody and being blamed for it because of her large Treon levels. Chika can do a lot more than the average agent, from blowing up buildings to doing all sorts of combos like the lead bullet to create unique ways to fight, and she was afraid that when anybody blamed her for sniping them out when she has such a large advantage of her Treon levels, and that's something you really have to stop and consider. Chika's Canon is pretty much unblockable if it comes to a direct hit on you, and the lead bullets are 100% guaranteed hit even if it comes into contact with your shield, and no other sniping agent can pull these things off. Imagine if Chika was able to shoot from the beginning. Tamakoma 2 may not have even lost that match on the snow map, even with Mikumo being taken out early. And the question remains, would anybody blame her? And that alone really makes you feel for her, because she doesn't want to feel useless, and yet at the same time, she is also trying to look out for herself. I'm glad that the two people who listened to her were Reiji and Usami, because Usami has the empathy, and as a girl, it'll probably help to relay your feelings to somebody who's more empathetic, and Reiji, as her teacher, I feel like it was important for him to be there, especially with his maturity. Whoever worked on the art for Chika this episode without a doubt deserves everything, because she looked phenomenal no matter what shot she was in, and I really appreciate the time and care given to show the seriousness of the situation this episode. The biggest takeaway Chika can use to move forward, not as a person but as an agent too, is that even if she does not shoot, her team will not fall her. A very true statement, but it's something that Chika does not want to take advantage of regardless, and we see her coming back downstairs at the end of the episode, seemingly having an answer for Hyuse, and she talks about fighting full force, and we get the ending playing as the episode wraps up. This episode really elaborated upon the burden residing in Amatori's heart, but also provided a stepping stone to overcome that burden. For my anime-only people watching this video, Round 8 will be one of the best fights in the entire series. It is a cultivation of the core Tamakoma 2's growth, and has one of the best action moments in the series for Chika, so I can assure you, if you set your expectations high, they will be met. Today's episode adapted chapter 178 and ended around the last few pages of chapter 179, and with that, it's going to bring me to the end of this week's review of World Trigger Season 3. As always, if you have enjoyed this video and would like to see more World Trigger content, then make sure to hit that like and subscribe button on your way out, and definitely leave all your thoughts and comments about today's episode down below, because I'm sure some of you all out there have plenty to say about Chika and her development as a character from beginning till now. And as always, thank you guys for watching, stay safe and warm out there, and I will catch you guys in the next episode.